Very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the GBS webinar series 2 brought to you by OM, chapter of PCOM, the National Tech Association of Malaysia. I sincerely hope all of you are doing very well at this point in time, in good health. My name is Justin, Executive Director at PCOM and Director at OM. I will be your host and moderator for today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, this second webinar series is in collaboration with Singers Technologies, and we're happy to have them on board as one of our corporate partners. OM continues to engage with you via our webinars series that we conduct almost every month, and also via through PCOM webinars to share best practices, thought leadership, business trends, and industry updates. Today's session is themed Growth Hacking Your Digital Strategies to Triple Your Sales. Wow. Now, this has definitely attracted many attendees for today's session. We had quite a number of you coming early morning before even the event would start at 10:15 a.m., which means you all are excited to see how to get to know more details into this topic. So growth hacking is the optimization method to go for all organizations to get more revenue, more customers in the digital era. That is key, especially during this current pandemic. We're trying to see how we can actually increase our customer base as well as our sales. Learning how to incorporate growth hacking into your digital strategies will definitely help to ensure efficient and effective customer acquisition. What's growth hacking your digital strategies to triple your sales? This webinar is actually brought to you by Faizurr Ibrahim from Singers Technologies under the brand name of ViSight to learn the what, why, and how of growth hacking. It's a new coin word, I suppose. But before I hand you over to our speaker today, please take note that your microphones have been muted and your cameras are turned off. So should you have any questions, please do feel free to post your questions in the comment box there anytime during the session. And this session is also recorded. Now, in the event, if you wish to speak to our speaker, just raise your hand and I will allow you to speak. If you wish to do so, please just raise your hand, so we will monitor that. Also, please stay tuned right till the end of the session, as there is some interesting lucky draw shared by Singers Technologies. All right, especially free chat box, free marketing, and toll packages. And now some of these packages are going free for about a year. So I think it's a good chance for you to stay throughout right to the end of the session. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Faizurr Ibrahim, digital marketer at Singers Technology. Hi, Faizurr.
Hey, hi, Justin.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I think everybody is excited to hear you today. Yeah. But just before I hand you over, Faizurr, maybe you could just, tell me what is growth hacking?
So growth hacking is basically a term, to put it simply, right? It's basically finding ways, cost-effective ways to generate higher revenue. Yeah. In a simpler manner.
Okay, good, great. So I will hand you over. The floor is yours. Over to you.
Thank you. Let me share my deck. Hold on. So thank you so much for everyone who actually decided to actually attend today's webinar, and big shout out to actually PCOM and OM for arranging these amazing these webinar sessions. I think this is the second time we are running this, right? So really happy for that, and I hope PCOM and OM do this continuously so that a lot of people actually can gain a lot of knowledge. So before we actually jump into the webinar, can I see like some interaction from the audience? Can you all put like some comments or something like that to see that whether you all can hear me or not? Come on. Okay. Okay, we have one. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so before I jump in and do my presentation, I would like to talk about myself for a while. Okay, so my name is Faizurr Ibrahim. I'm a digital marketer. I'm a certified digital marketer from American Marketing Association. Okay, currently I work with these 𝐿𝐄𝐁𝐈𝐍𝐀 Technologies. Okay, as a digital marketer, my experience actually range from customer experience, sales, and then technically growth marketing. Okay, so whatever that I'm going to present today is going to be covering the entire experience of me basically trying to get as much as leads as possible or trying to increase the revenue of the companies that I worked for. Okay, so the agenda of today is going to talk about what is growth hacking. Okay, I explained a bit before, so I'm going to do a bit more in detail explanation for that. Then what is growth pyramid? So growth pyramid is basically where you use to actually come up with the best formula for your growth hacking processes, which then we will talk about later on. And then a mini case study. After that, I'll talk about the tools that I personally use to get quality leads and then higher revenue. And as Justin mentioned, we have amazing prizes waiting for all of you due to the current pandemic and etc. We feel that we should help out our fellow business owners, so we are giving away 3 of our solutions for free. Okay, we have a chatbot, we have a business toll-free line, and we also have a marketing package for y'all. Okay, this prize is only available for 3 people, so we will let you know how you can basically grab this opportunity. Okay, next, what is growth hacking? So growth hacking is a term that is basically coined by Sean Ellis. Okay, he's an entrepreneur who have had many success with a lot of businesses. Okay, so technically speaking, growth hacking means it means basically a way basically you can do certain things like marketing strategies, sales strategies, and etc. to achieve a higher revenue at the lowest cost possible. Okay, imagine buying a Google ad. Okay, it's not growth hacking because you're technically using the platform as how it intended to be, including like Facebook, Instagram, and etc. But imagine that if you create a Facebook group for the product you sell, and then you grow that audience, and then initially they become the first level of the funnel for your acquisition strategy. That is growth hacking. Trying to do certain marketing strategies in a different manner, I would say, a more cost-effective manner. Okay. So let's look at the difference between a growth hacker and a traditional marketer. A traditional marketer, I think in a way you can also put in digital marketer as well in this category. Okay, so they basically in charge of awareness and acquisition. They're basically in charge of getting as much as leads as possible. Then potentially you're looking at them passing the leads to the sales team. Okay, and whatever the product team give them, the product, the USP, and etc. They need to come up with landing pages, the copywriting, and everything. So they need to spin the USP and etc. Then potentially get the leads. Whereby growth hacker is a bit more different. He takes charge of the customer journey from awareness, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. From end to end, he is the person who is in charge of everything. Okay, if we feel that this particular product doesn't really convert or get as many customers as possible, so then he basically lies with the product team to actually come up with a good feature that potentially will attract them and etc. And then potentially he will liaise with sales team how basically they can do a good account management to make sure that they can retain this particular customer. Okay, so we have this difference between traditional marketing and growth marketing, right? And I also mentioned to you that they're also in charge of the product, the sales, and etc. So let's look into product a bit more in detail. Okay, the growth pyramid. So if you're talking about coming up with the best processes to make sure that you gain the revenue at a very cost-effective manner, this is the pyramid that you should be using. Okay, if you're not using, then potentially you just after the session, then you can sit down with your team and discuss about the things that I mentioned to you today. Okay, so the first level is product market fit. It's very crucial that you have a very good product that fit very well into your market or target audience. Okay, imagine that you don't have a very good product that is actually desirable by your potential audience, right? The upcoming stages will fail miserably, stacking the odds or scaling the growth and etc. A lot of enterprises have big budget, but they may not have very good product. So what they do is they just do a lot of marketing, try to push a product that try to force people into using the product, right? So when you don't have much of a budget, you need to really make sure that your product is very good, so that your audience, your potential customers will do the referral, the word of mouth, right? How do you identify whether your product is a very good fit or not? If you already own the solution, okay, reach out to your existing customers. If you don't own a solution, you're planning to start a startup, or planning to do a SaaS business or something like that, send out a survey to your potential audience, LinkedIn or Facebook and etc. Ask them a simple question, what would happen if suddenly you decided to discontinue the product that you're having? See their reaction. If 40% of them says that, hey, I'm gonna be very sad, bro, I think I'm in love with your product, I think you should basically maintain your product, even if you want money, I can give it to you. So if you receive those sort of feedback, right, then you have a great product, you have a great product market fit. Okay, so what if some of them says that, hey, it's good, but I don't think so. I would feel that I would miss your product that much, maybe a bit, but not much. So this is what you call a nice to have product. It's not necessary for people, but they like to have it. So if you receive 40% of reply back saying that this sort of feedback, then you need to really work on your product features and etc. Improve it accordingly. Okay, if 40% of them says that I don't care about your product, literally I don't care about anything in my life now. So you have a product that people don't really care about. Okay, go back to your product team, work on the feature that potentially your target audience will really love. Okay, imagine that you have a great product fit. What are you going to do next? Stacking the odds. So stacking the odds is basically means that identify these people who actually say that they will be very unhappy if you discontinue the product. Okay, understand who they are, what phone they use, where they spend majority of their time, and then potentially how you can reach out to them and etc. So once you have all of these, sit down with your entire stakeholders, come up with a great formula: sales pitch, marketing channel, strategy, advertisement, and etc. and etc. So once you have that, then you scale the growth. Okay, so how do you scale the growth? So you have the formula, but you need to test the formula. It may not, imagine that who your target audience is and you come up with some ideas. It doesn't mean that the moment you put into execution is going to work miraculously, right? So what you can do, you need to follow a step-by-step process. Okay, it's called the growth hacking process. This particular process that you're looking at now is something that I personally do. If you look at other growth hackers, they have their own formula and everything. For me, this is mine. You can feel free to take a screenshot if you want to refer back later on. Okay, so the first thing you should do is audit. Okay, if you have an existing product, see what is the problem with these products. Okay, see how you can improve it. See what is if you already have a solution, see which particular part of your SaaS solution that is not being used that much by your audience. Okay, if you ask me how do I identify which one they're not using, you need to improve on your reporting. Use Google Analytics and everything. You can know which page they land in to basically identify which are the one that are being used the most, which is not being used the most. Once you have the problem, assemble together your stakeholders, maybe potentially your product team, your sales team, your management team. Sit them down, tell them we have this problem. Okay, people are not using these. I really need. We need to really come up with some great ideas and everything. Gather all those ideas and then prioritize. Because the reason why, unless you have billions of ringgit in for experiment, I would suggest that you prioritize the most fastest and quickest way to increase your revenue. Okay, so once you prioritize, design the experiment, how you want to reach this paper, the collaterals, the design, and etc. Okay, once you have that, run the experiment. After you run the experiment, analyze which is doing well, what is not doing well. Once you know which is doing well, you just basically need to optimize the part that is basically doing well. And what about the one that is not doing well? Okay, the experiments that is not doing well, you go back to the cycle again, audit back again, assemble your team, ideate, prioritize, design the experiment, run the experiment, and analyze back again. So this is how technically you should be basically doing your growth hacking processes. It looks similar to how a marketer come up with marketing strategies and everything. Okay, but then in this particular manner, you have a lot of I mean, the term we use here is called experiment. So experiment is the key here. But how do you run a good experiment? Should you give a bit more importance to speed? Should you give importance to having a perfect feature out? A lot of businesses, particularly in Malaysia, right? So what they do is that they take a very long time to come up with a particular feature, like 1 year, 2 years down the road and everything. People don't really have that much of time to wait for you to actually fix the problems that you already have. You should come up with features in a smaller batches at a very quicker pace. Okay, that's why speed is very important when it comes to basically doing experiment. An example of this is basically looking at Amazon and Booking.com. They may not have the world-class best UI UX. Maybe they have a very good UX, maybe not so much on the UI. Okay, so the reason why is that they concentrate so much on making sure that they get the feature out there as much as possible, so that they can retain the customers much longer. So once they keep on doing that, they know which is not working, they can come back to the drawing board, fix the problem, go back again out very fast. Okay, that's the reason why Amazon is growing in a very fast manner, because of this, because they do a lot of experiments. Jeff Bezos particularly have a very huge interest in basically doing a lot of experiments. So when you look at companies like Apple or Netflix, they take their own sweet time to basically come up with a product feature. People always say that Apple is a bit more outdated in compared to Samsung or other Android devices, right? But technically, what they're trying to do is that to make sure that the solutions or the features that they're releasing is basically up to the par. Doesn't have many bugs or issues, anything like that. So depending on your company type, okay, either way can work well, but speed is always very important. Okay, so if you're decided to do an experiment, get that experiment out there as soon as possible. Once you're done with that, come back, analyze the experiment, and then basically improve your product accordingly. Okay. Next, let's look at a case study. This is a mini case study, so we don't have a lot of time. So I'm just going to quickly run through this. Okay, this case study was done on RJ Metrics. They are an e-commerce analytics platform. Okay, so how they basically did a mini growth hack for their lead generation strategy is that initially they give away iPad. So majority of them were like didn't submit much of a lead. Quite surprising, right? iPad, but not many of them technically submitted a lead, to request for to stand in the chance to actually win an iPad. Okay, so they thought, hey, what we should do. Then they analyzed their audience. They identified that their audience like to eat how to say sweet things. So they ended up give away a free cupcake when anyone basically submit a lead. When they implemented this particular mini growth hack, right, they saw a huge amount of people actually jump in and actually shared share their their information to them. Okay, through that they actually they stick to this strategy. So they use this strategy again and again and again, and people still come back to them again and again and again. So compared to using the iPad and also using a cupcake, they saw like 2 times more leads coming in when they basically using the iPad. Following them, a lot of other companies as well did similar things. This company called Advanced B2B, they also did the free cupcake giveaway. So if you're planning to do some sort of a lead generation, or you're planning to do a market survey or anything like that, I think potentially you can try something like this. But if you feel that you want to do it a bit more localized, then potentially you can give away, like traditional, like Malaysian, things. I don't know, durian or something like that. So yeah, it definitely worked because you're thinking out of the box and you're technically in the verge of going viral. Okay. Next is the growth hack. Okay. So this is the growth hack that I've been using for my current company, and potentially that a lot of other marketers are using. So how it goes is basically I'm gonna be presenting about the challenges a marketer face, and then potentially the hack that's gonna solve the problem for them. Okay. So the first challenge is talking about visitors that never convert into lead. Pretty sure that a lot of marketers have this problem. You have so many people comes into your website, but only a certain fraction of those people actually convert. Like when you look at the conversion rate, maybe you're doing way above the market conversion rate, right? 2%, 5%, it's still good, But what about the remaining of the people that actually land in your website? How do you get hold? How do you know who's this company, where they're from, and etc., right? How do you identify this? This is the same issue that I faced as well. Like when I started off doing some digital campaign for my company, we had a very good conversion rate, 5% in the landing page, which is still higher than 2% market average, right? So 5% conversion rate. My boss asked me like, "Hey, Faizurr, what happened to the remaining of the audience, the visitors, right? How do you get hold of them? You still need to do something to basically capture them and etc." So what I did was I did a bit of research and etc. And then I came across this solution. This solution is amazing. It is a gold mine. If you're not using it, I would suggest you to go today, install it in your website. You will be surprised the amount of leads that you're gonna get. Okay. So the lead is called, the solution is called Lead Feeder. Okay, so what they do is basically they identify the website visitors even when they didn't convert. Okay, as I mentioned before, you have so many traffic coming into your site, but only a certain fraction that convert. Okay, how do you identify this? Is through this tool. Okay, so potentially you're looking at people, businesses that comes into your website, they look at your product pricing, but they left. We don't know why, but they left. How do you reach back to them? Through the solution. We have used it for our website, and we also implemented it for our customers as well. So they are pretty happy. So imagine a situation, right? A guy wanted to find a BPO service provider. Okay, so technically the first thing that he do, look into the list of the companies. Okay, company A, company B, company C. Okay, imagine only company A have lead feeder. Okay, so the first day this guy comes into all the website, gather the information, and he goes back to the management to present. Okay, maybe he take 2 to 3 days, to present to the management and potentially select the winning company to get a quotation, right? So, but if company A have the advantage of knowing who is these people are, then what he can do, he can basically come up with the best strategy or best solution for these people, because you would know who is this company, potentially who is the target PIC and etc. So you can customize your solution, reach out to them even before your competitor have any chance to basically talk to them. So you're technically looking at 2 or 3 steps ahead of your competitors. So use it. It's a great tool. Lead Feeder. They have a 14 days free trial, so test it out. Feel free to take a screenshot of this this particular frame if you want to go ahead look at it later on. Okay. So the next challenge is basically talking about the conversion rate in the website is low. Okay. Due to a lot of factors, you're looking at potentially, a very bad UI, bad UX and etc. We have, some companies or some websites tend to have a very high bounce rate. Okay, it's going to be a bit more difficult to understand sometimes why. You can use analytics, you can use the heat maps, but then a visitor's psychology can be a bit more tough to understand. So how do you solve this problem? By having an exit intent pop-up. Okay. Pretty sure majority of you have seen this. Okay, exit intent pop-up is something that actually pop up to you before you actually exit the website. Okay, so how it works is that this tool actually enables you to show this pop-up before the cursor actually moves into the close button, or they can actually show it to the customers potentially like after 2 or 3 seconds, or after they scored 50% 50% of the page. Or you can actually show people particularly in a specific pages. Example, if they're looking at pricing, a pricing page, right? You can show a pop-up of potentially giving away a free trial. Okay, if they're looking into about us or customer testimonial, etc., you can potentially show them an ebook of a comparison you did between you and your competitors. So this is how you basically engage with them. You try to understand the flow, that whatever that is going on inside their mind, what they're doing when they're looking at a particular website, and show the content accordingly. That's how you basically grow your audience base. Okay, so using the same method, we actually captured 10% more early exiters, in our website. We have a couple of websites, so we use this across some of them actually. Okay, so personally we use unbounce.com because they have our landing pages as well, so it's much more seamless. But if you want to use something for free, poptin.com is for free. Okay, you can explore those. Then you just need to get the code and implement it in your website. Okay. The next one is a low lead submission from the form. A lot of companies still face these issues because they decided to actually have like 2 or 3 pages worth of questions, right? I don't know why. Some Malaysian companies, they tend to have like 2 or like a lot of like 15 questions. Like why? Like they just want, people just want to get information about your product, right? But then you ended up making their life miserable by asking so many questions. You don't need to ask people so many questions, so people are not interested in giving you, so many answers, for no reason, right? They're still in basically exploration stage. So cut down on the amount of field that you have for them to fill up. Okay, this particular company called Insight Squared, they actually ran a test. What happens if I remove the phone field? Okay. They ran the test for 30 days, and the outcome of that is basically around 112% better lead generation compared to when they have a phone number field. Okay, do a lot of testing. For us, I find it 3 or 4 field is good enough. Okay, so try to play with your the amount of field that you have. Think about it like look at it from this perspective, right? Do not ask so many questions in the early stages. Once they actually become your customers, in the onboarding part, you can actually ask more questions, who they are and etc. I understand that, the more data you have, the better remarketing campaigns you can do and everything. But at this stage, if you ask so many questions, you're losing out on a lot of customers. Okay, so Hubspot Forms is one of those form builder that you can actually use for free. Okay, they do have their mini powered by HubSpot kind of a thing branding there, but nonetheless, if you want to look into some other ones, there are some free ones that you can potentially use. Okay. Next is ads are very expensive. During this pandemic, right? After the Prime Minister emphasized that companies need to go digital, digitalization is the key. A lot of companies started to venture into online space. They have so many e-commerce, so many websites came out, like just like within 3 or 4 months, right? And they also started to do advertisements. So what happened with a lot of companies running advertisement is that advertisement became expensive. Why? How? Imagine Facebook, right? Facebook have a list of ways you can do the targeting. The main one is basically interest-based targeting. A list of interest that potential advertisers can use to target their potential audience. Okay, so when you have a list, maybe 100, 200 lists of interest used by the entire world, things can go very, very fast into like very expensive. So how do you solve this problem? This is my personal favorite. I use it all day long. So SEMrush. Okay, you need to spy on your competitors' ad. How do you do that? Is basically through this tool called SEMrush. Get your competitors' URL. Once you get your competitors' URL, put it into the SEMrush. So what it will tell you is that the ads they are running, okay, the amount of keywords they're ranking for, okay, the ads, the copywriting, and etc. and etc. And you can also see, okay, which keyword is performing the best. Okay, so when you basically know which keyword is doing well, which copywriting is doing well, you're actually saving a lot of time in doing testing or doing experiment for that matter. Generally speaking, Google Ads is, even though it can get you a faster leads and etc., you still need to test your audience. You know, you still need to test your copywriting and etc. So you need to at least come up with, I don't know, 4 ad sets or 6 ad sets, 8 ad sets, having a lot of ads. You know, if you're properly doing that. Okay, so through this method, you're able to cut that down to potentially 2 ad sets, saving you almost like 70 to 50% of your ad spend. Okay, so at the same time getting more quality lead. Okay, so check them out. They have us, I think, 30 days free trial or something like that. Yep, check them out. If you can't find the link for the particular trial, reach out to me. I can provide to you. Okay, so the next challenges is basically going to be about visitors who didn't actually convert in the first visit. When you look at like having a website and, you know, selling, or be it for like B2B, you know, having to collect the leads and etc., right? People actually visit your website just to get information in the first level. So that's why almost 96% of visitors don't actually convert in the first visit. They take a lot more time to see about your website, show their bosses, hey, this company is good, can we buy from them, etc. Okay, so how do you push these people, the first-time visitors, into buying or giving you the lead? Using FOMO tools. Is also known as fear of missing out tool. Okay, so what essentially you're doing is that you show your potential prospect or customers, hey, another customer just bought this item, for example, Busy Coffee, right? So you can just show a small widget, like a social proof in the corner there, saying that Adam just bought Busy Coffee 2 minutes ago. Okay, after 1 or 2 minutes, they're gonna see it again. You know, they're gonna see it again, and after that, they're gonna see it again. So for them, they will be like, wow, this product is so good, you know. So many people are buying this, you know. Sometimes when the social norm, they want to follow that, technically they ended up buying the product. So it works very well for a lot of businesses, particularly e-commerce, but it can be also applied for B2B businesses as well. And then particular company you can actually use to get your free trial is Proof Source. Okay, they have it for free. The reason why I'm actually presenting tools that are free, because growth hacking is always about doing cost-effective things to actually grow your revenue. So all these are free tools. You can actually use it to increase your revenue accordingly. Okay. Next is basically talking about customer wants to know about the product even before they want to purchase. You know, e-commerce, B2B product services, software or anything like that. They want to know about the product before. Imagine the first. I mean, remember I mentioned that the first level is always about information gathering. So how do you basically give them the proper information? You don't want to put so many information to your website. That is ridiculous, you know. I've seen like some websites, they have like an entire blog section as their first homepage. That is ridiculous, because you don't want your customers to spend their time reading articles. You want them to basically convert something the lead, right? So how do you do that? Through chatbot. Okay, chatbot is very, very crucial for each and every businesses, particularly in Malaysia, because people, internet penetration in Malaysia is very high. Is very, very high. And then Juniper Research, one of a reputable research company, have indicated that almost by 2023, chatbot e-commerce transaction will accumulate up to $112 billion. Okay, you're looking at a lot more people buying, but from chatbot, and also buying with the help of chatbot. Okay, basically generating lead through chatbot or through chatbot. Okay, it became very crucial for a lot of businesses. And one thing that one tool that you can particularly use is ViSight Chatbot. It's our own brand, and the best thing about it is basically we are giving away one chatbot solution for free for one of you. So stay tuned until the end to know how you can actually win this ViSight Chatbot. Okay, our ViSight Chatbot is basically used by a lot of large enterprises, nationally, regionally, and then also government agencies and etc. So, yep. And the final one is customer could not reach us, missed calls. Okay, even though we are talking about digital strategies, right? Call is still a very important channel in Malaysia. Okay, because why? Even though people prefer to engage in WhatsApp or chat with chatbot and etc., Malaysians still want to reach out to you through call, because sometimes they just can't wait you until you reply back WhatsApp. Some businesses take like almost 1 or 2 days to get back to these people. So would your customer wait? No. Within a day, if they didn't get any information from you, they will leave. Okay, so how do you solve this problem? ViSight toll free. Okay, so with ViSight toll free, you're able to get a missed opportunity report. You're able to see how many people actually called you, okay, and how many times they actually called you but couldn't get through, okay, and how many of them called you and finally they give a missed call, then they tried again and then they got through. Okay, so with this report, you're able to see the list of the phone numbers that actually gave you a missed call. So what do? You call them quickly. Okay, ask them, sorry, we don't have the necessary resources to basically attend to you on time, and this is how you basically service your customer. Imagine you don't call back, because the current reporting, the landline reporting doesn't provide you missed call reporting. So it's going to be very difficult for you to reach out to the people who actually give your business a missed call, right? Okay, this can be applied for e-commerce business. It can be applied for B2B, BPO particularly, right? So you have a lot of tools that basically monitor your agent's performance and etc. By having a TM toll free packed with ViSight toll free, you're able to identify so much more, including how long the calls are, what is the peak time to actually enable you to arrange your resources accordingly. Okay, and then potentially to know where your majority of your customers are calling from. Imagine you're running out of home advertising. Okay, if you have ViSight reporting, you're finally able to track your ROI. You know that previously this traditional marketing, you would not be able to track the out of home advertising, right? Unless you run a specific promotion or promo code and etc. But through ViSight reporting, you can drill down particularly into the areas that you are running the campaign, and you can identify the winning potentially the winning strategies and etc. So as for ViSight Chatbot, we are also giving away ViSight toll free for a lucky one business. Just stay tuned until the end to find out how you can actually win. Okay, so to recap everything, okay, growth hacking is all about basically mixing marketing, psychology, and technology to achieve higher revenue in a more cost-effective manner. Okay, it may look similar to marketing, but it's a bit more different because a growth marketer is in charge of each and every step of the customer funnel. Okay, so product market fit. Make sure your product have a good product market fit. Okay, and do a lot of product update here and there very frequently. Make sure that your customers are happy. A lot of people, they take their own sweet time. Some companies take 5-10 years without a solution update. People will eventually move on to another business that are doing very well. So you need to innovate in order to basically maintain your market share. Next is growth hacking process. Stick to that. Okay, that is very crucial. You can use mine, or you can actually refer to some other growth hacking processes that you can actually find online. And then finally, experiment. That is very crucial. Experiment as much as you can. The more you experiment, the more revenue you will be able to generate. Because without experimenting, you would not be able to understand what is working, what is not working. Do not care about the money so much, because eventually what you're doing is that you're trying your level best to make sure your customer are happy. A happy customer will always comes back again, and you also have a very high customer that sticks with you a longer time, right? Providing a higher customer lifetime value. Okay, so to summarize the growth hack: number 1, identify the website visitors through lead feeder. Second, use exit intent pop-up, very crucial. And cut down a lot of unnecessary questions. People don't really care about that. They want to just submit information. They want to get information from you. Okay. Outsmart your competitor ads by spying on them. Okay. using tools such as SEMrush. There's also another tool called SpyFu, but then SpyFu, the data they have is a bit more for Americans, you know, like those sides of market. But SEMrush, you can also still get data from Malaysia. We have done that, and you know, we continuously use that on a daily basis. SEMrush you can also use to spy on your competitor content, okay, and as well as your entire audit, social media, you know, is the go-to marketing tool. You should get it, okay. Show how customers are shopping. Use social proof to show your potential customer or prospects that they are basically, you know, in a good hand, okay. Chatbot is very important as well because it's a digital era now, so you need to help your customer with shopping experiences. You know, you need to upsell your product and etc. So Chatbot would be able to do that dependent on the what pages they are in, etc. They can actually upsell the product accordingly, okay. And then it can be also applied for B2B solutions as well, okay. Having a BPO businesses and etc. If you have a large enterprise that want to come and talk to you, but they you know, they can't get in touch with you because you know in the middle of the night or something like that, Chatbot is the go-to solution. Okay, next is basically the missed opportunities. So when you have a TM toll-free packed with ViSight toll-free reporting, you would be able to identify so many insights. Okay, so I mean, even particularly us, we have served over 5,000 Malaysian businesses that are using TM toll-free for their benefit. So as I said, Chatbot and toll-free we're giving away later on, so stay tuned. And then finally, we need to talk about the company that actually funded this, my company that I work for. Let's talk about them. So Singgis Technologies is a partner of Telecom Malaysia. We were founded back in 2008 by two innovative and then visionary founders who thought that, hey, you know, we should really help Malaysian businesses to provide them with business insights, you know, to grow their, you know, customer happiness, you know, customer experience and etc. You know, so thanks to them, we actually grow our businesses and served over 5,000 Malaysian businesses to complete their brand and bring their brand to the next level. Okay, and from there we actually expanded our solution, including ViSight Chatbot, an artificially intelligent chatbot automation platform. And then we also have a brand new baby, ViSight Marketing as a Service. Okay, ViSight MaaS is basically a customer acquisition tool. ViSight Chatbot is a customer engagement tool, whereby ViSight Toll-Free is a customer experience tool. So together, we are basically completing the business's brand for a higher revenue. Okay, so I think that's all from my end. I think we will jump into the lucky draw now. Yeah, so the lucky draw. So what we're going to be giving away today is basically before we talk about lucky draw prizes, how you can basically participate in the lucky draw. First, you need to scan the QR code that you can see in the deck here. Okay, you can scan the QR code, or you can visit our LinkedIn page. Okay, it's Singgis Technologies. Connect with us, follow us. As soon as you follow us, comment on our pinned post, the top one about this event. Comment about what you think about this event. Then you stand a chance to win the lucky draw. Okay, so all of you will be receiving a free website audit. Okay, no matter whether you're small business, large enterprises, and etc., we will help you to do a free website audit. We will analyze your website, see what is going on, what is the problem, how you can improve it, and etc. And then we will advise you accordingly. Okay, and then we're also providing a free brand consultation for one company. Okay, we will analyze each and every one of your customer acquisition funnel. Okay, see how we can improve it accordingly, and then we'll get back to you and arrange a schedule to talk to you and on how to improve it. Okay, next is that high fidelity Bluetooth speaker. 15 of you will be receiving a high fidelity Bluetooth speaker. Okay, this is a lucky draw. So as I said, go and comment in our pinned post to be actually eligible to receive this lucky draw. Okay, and then the big one is going to be the free solution. Okay, as we talked before, we are giving away our business toll-free line for free for one of you. Okay, and then second is going to be the AI chatbot solution. Okay, and the third one is going to be MaaS package. Okay, so this MaaS package is talking about running a digital campaign for you for free. Okay, so together the worth of this package is up to 15K. So if you don't have any of those, I would suggest go and do comment on our post. It's still, you know, it's not much of a work, right? So just comment and grab your reward accordingly. And if you decided to actually, hey, I don't want to participate in Lucky Draw, I just want to buy your solution, etc., you are also eligible to receive a 300 ringgit cashback until the end of this month. And also we are giving away free premium daily reporting for 1 year. Okay, so that's all from me, Justin. These are the lucky draws that we're giving away.
Thanks, Faizurr. It was a very interesting session that you actually shared fabulous ideas in terms of the tools, especially the tools, right?
Are you using any of those?
No, I'm not. Now I will start doing that soon, right? And I think, yeah, I believe that the information that you shared is quite informative, and the audience who are here also would have benefited from some great insights that you have shared. Things that simple things, free tools, which is available. I mean, we should just give it a try, right? 14 days, 30 days free trial. We should do. I mean, I do try out some products, but not the ones that you have actually shared. But for the sake for the lucky draw, Faizurr, you're saying that we have to scan the QR code and comment on the pin post, which is the one you're on live now. Am I right?
Yes, this is basically the one that link back to our page. Okay.
Okay.
So let's the event that you can't scan the code. Go to LinkedIn, and I've typed in the company name in the message. I mean the chat box. So you can just link back to those particular page. Connect with us, follow us, and comment on the pin post to actually receive the free gift.
Okay. Right. Okay. So make sure everyone do that. But you know what? I think there's a catch. You have to ask questions, right? So so we need to have a question coming from the floor. So we have a question here from Ilyas. Can I outrank large companies with big budgets using these strategies?
Oh, okay. Definitely you can, because talking about SEMrush, right? The tool that I mentioned to you, that particular tool will enable you to spy on your competitors. I'm going to give you a case study. I mean, not a case study, my personal experience using these tools to outrank one of the world's biggest competitor. You know, so I don't want to mention the brand. Okay, so we ran this campaign in Malaysia. So this particular brand, they are huge. They have a huge expensive budget to run their campaign. The best thing is that we ran a digital search campaign, and we outranked them for almost 1 month on number 1. They were like number 2nd or 3rd or something like that. So definitely you are potential. I mean, you definitely can actually outrank them. So this is from my experience. I have outranked them. That's a proudest thing that I can actually tell the floor actually.
Right. You mentioned about growth hacking, right? So for organizations to look at this, will this be something which a company which needs to look at in hiring a role for growth hacking, or is this a process?
Okay, so it depends actually. So some, for example, like me, right? I'm a digital marketer, but then I'm very well versed with growth hacks and etc. Right? So I do basically hacks here and there. But for a better efficiency and etc., growth hackers is someone that should be very much eligible in technologies, in product development, project management, in sales and etc. So in order for you to find someone like that, it's a bit unique, right? So unless you know Faizurr, so it's going to be a bit more harder for you to find. So if you want to basically hire, it should be something, a specific role. Okay, nonetheless, if you want to basically how do I put it, if you want to basically hire go ahead. It's a very good process. But if you want to go and train your internal team, there's a lot of courses that is available on teaching you on how you can actually become a growth hacker. Okay, it needs to be something naturally comes for a marketeer. Okay, but if it doesn't, free courses available. Look into Sean Ellis. He is kind of like the main person or the guru for growth hacking. I've seen a couple of his talks. He's just basically genius. Look into him. And there's this guy as well, Gary V. Pretty sure majority of you know. He talks a lot, so he gives out a lot of good information and etc. Even particularly about growth hacking and etc. So look into him as well.
Okay, right. Sharifa has got a question here. She heard something regarding the iOS hacking system, hacking things. How do you hack Apple iOS update?
Okay, iOS update that impacted remark. Oh, okay. So, you know, as how many of you know, Apple just made marketers' life more difficult by having iOS 14.5, I think. What it did was basically, it's good for people. You know, they basically stopped from companies tracking you across the websites. Okay, but for a marketer, it became so much difficult to do a good remarketing campaign. Okay, so I think particularly for me, how did I work around that is that you don't have much of a workaround. There's only two ways to do it. Okay, number one, use your existing database. Okay, use your existing database. What I mean is that you know, Facebook have a thing called custom audience. Previously I mentioned that Facebook have interest-based targeting. Facebook give you option, people who recently got married, people who recently give births, all this interest targeting, right? They have that. Okay, that is going to be very expensive. Use your own customers data and find people who are similar to that. So using that, you have your own how do I put it, database that you can actually tap into and gain a lot of good amount of how do I put it, leads, good quality leads. We have done that so many times. It's been pretty good for us. It really affects in a sense that Facebook very much dependent on the tracking part. Okay, you're using remarketing, you're using custom audience, you're using interest-based targeting. It's you know, it's still there's still a problem. You know, problem still exists there, but it's still something that you can actually work around. Okay, another way you can do it is basically when you're doing or collecting leads, do not send people out of Facebook into your landing page, because if you have a pixel in your website, you cannot track them anymore. So the best bet is to basically run a Facebook campaign, have the lead form inside the Facebook, capture them. Then you can go into Business Manager, tell Facebook, hey Facebook, I want you to find people who are similar to the people who actually submitted the lead form. Since it's still within their Facebook platform, Facebook can still bypass Apple's this iOS update and etc. Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that we shouldn't direct the traffic or put in a link which hits you to your website.
Yeah.
In that process, you might lose them.
Yes, yes. I mean, you basically can get the data, the lead submission, etc. But if you want to do the remarketing, unless they're using an Android phone, if they use, I mean, it would be so much difficult for you. And just to heads up, Google is planning to basically do the same thing within 1 or 2 years. So one tip I can give you, grow your database, grow your audience list, get as much as leads as possible. For example, Justin, right? So if you become an OM, you have your become members database and etc. You know, you have pixel in your website, but 2 years down the road, if you want to do remarketing of people who actually visit your website, it's going to be very bad. So the best way, get as much as information from your Become OM members and then run digital campaigns in Facebook using those. That would be good.
All right, good information. Okay, so let's look at in terms of we have another 2 or 3 minutes left. Maybe take a couple of questions. In terms of what are some of the digital trends, digital marketing trends for 2021 that you see? And how are people and how are companies are actually adapting to this?
So these are marketing trends. 2021, as I mentioned, a lot of businesses are going into doing a lot of digital ads, doing a lot of marketing campaigns and etc. So even many of them are first-time business startups. They may not have the real knowledge on how to do it effectively. Okay, so you're looking at potentially looking into gaining as much as information as possible by of them, and then potentially crafting out content. Content is still king. Write a lot of marketing content. Use platforms such as YouTube. YouTube have YouTube Shorts. I started to see a lot of businesses start to do a short video. Funny videos, trying to entertain their customers and etc. So potentially using those, you would be able to grab more customers. And also augmented reality. This is very unique in the sense that, have you seen like in Facebook, right? When you swipe to the left, you can see the camera with a lot of filters.
Right.
Businesses are using that, like big brands such as Milo. You have a lot of companies, using they create a very good filter, and on the corner there you can see their branding. So this is how you create content, to engage with your potential customers. AR, AI content is still a big trend in 2021.
Right. Just before we go, right? When as a marketer, we tend to try and push the products or services as much as we can, right? So there's a lot of marketing push that is being sent out. Now, I, as an end user who's a recipient of the message, okay, hey, that's too many. Don't you think this is a spam that I'm getting from you guys? Now, even WhatsApp, for the matter, it seems to be sending that. So, so from a marketer standpoint, I'm asking you a question. Aren't you spamming us?
Okay, so it depends. There's two contexts to this, right? How do you acquire those customers? Okay, so when you acquire customers, basically, hey, if you are basically, they submit a lead in your website, then from there onwards, you've been giving them a lot of spam contents and etc. So that's a very bad way of doing it. Each and every of your email that you sent out is going to be about what? Direct selling, hard selling. People don't really like it. Hubspot have a thing called Flywheel. People can actually look it up. Flywheel is a wonderful method. So what Flywheel teaches us is that give your customers information. Do not put a single call to action in the email. Okay, provide them free information for no reason at all. If, for example, become OM, right? Okay, you can send out information how customer experience reshaping BPOs, or example like that. See who is your target audience and etc. Do not, for example, if you put too many, each and every email is going to be about, hey, participate in this email. People are going to be like, hey, they're spamming us. But imagine in a month, you sent out 10 emails. 10 emails, 8 emails is free information. Give them free Excel sheet. Give them free PDF. Give them free, these sort of things. You would actually make them very happy. That's why understanding the audience is very crucial. Once you understand them, you would know what to give them. Imagine become OM members, right? Okay. They are basically, so for example, BPOs. So you want to provide tools such as, for example, like NPS scorecard or something like that. How you effectively manage or improve your NPS. Okay, so when they receive emails such as this, they'll be like, wow, this content is good. I didn't know this, So that is way better. They will be more happy. So the more happy they are, the more less they feel that you're spamming them. So it depends on what sort of content we are providing them. So then if you...
So what I'm hearing is, so customarily we will send EDMs with call to action. And what you're saying is people don't really respond to the call of action. But instead, out of the 5 or 6 EDMs that you're going to send, at least 80% should be information sharing, and probably only the 10% call to action.
Exactly. Because HubSpot have this thing, customer who actually who never actually terminated with them, and also didn't using them anymore, or just submitted late but never purchased any product, they still provide this value to these people. And all of this, even including me, even though I've used HubSpot in the past, but I stopped using. But even now, I'm receiving the emails from them. I'm very happy to read about their content because I know they're providing value back to me.
Faizurr, thank you so much. We have come to the 1 hour of session that we have spent, and I think the information is definitely fruitful. I think a lot of things that you share. Even the last minute you were sharing about Flywheel. That was another tool that you shared with us, and I think you actually kept the audience engaged in terms of giving us a free ideas and tools. All right. Yep. So to the rest of you, thank you again, Faizurr, so much. Thank you to Singers Technology for being our corporate sponsor, partner for OM. And if you're keen to receive more information from OM and PCOM, please do sign up with us as individual members. All right, you just go to PCOM website or just drop us a mail at info@ommalaysia.org.my. And we will send you some information, all right? Or you go to ommalaysia.org.my website and you can get some information about us, all right?
Yeah. Just a quick mention on the lucky draw. Make sure to go into our LinkedIn page, connect with us, follow us, and then potentially, you will stand a win to. You will stand a chance to win the thing. Thank you so much for everyone who actually decided to participate. Look out for more, more webinars potentially with PCOM. If Justin willing to collaborate with us, then potentially
we are already collaborating. What do you mean we are willing?
I'm just telling for the future ones. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you again, Faizurr. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the team, Liana, Grace, for helping to produce the session. And to all of you, stay safe and all the best. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.